Hello YouTube, Millennium X17 here. Time for some side content hero number 4. That's right, we're doing back-to-back side content heroes because the other night I did that much wandering around. So, starting off, we're going to be doing some Franklin, and we were just on our way to a property management task for smoke on the water, and I come across this random encounter. If I had it, for more often than not, I do try to do the random encounters as they pop up, and here's the thing: it's this girl that's yelling for help, and she goes into an alley. I follow her in the alley. At one point in time, she goes around a corner and pops back out with some dude, and they try to gun me down, which didn't end well, as you might expect. Either which way. Yeah, that was interesting. Next up, hey, guess what? Tanya's back, and she's getting clean. No, really, seriously, I'm not lying. She's getting clean. Just one more hit. So yeah, same for JD. He's getting clean. He's just still at the crack house. So yeah, more tow truck. She swears it's the last time. At the time, I didn't quite believe her. However, later on, a little bit later on, she calls and says that, oh yeah, the impound lot's for sale. So only Franklin can buy it. It's $150,000. I don't know. It's definitely not on my top of my priority list, how shall we say. So, the next up, as a matter of fact, driving around, we come across another random event. This time, it's very special because it actually took control of the camera. It was a construction accident. Some guy is talking on the phone, talking about how he's retiring the very next day. And for some reason, his truck was parked underneath a crane that was lifting some pipes. And the straps give way to the pipes, and he's trapped in his truck with the pipes around him. At this point in time, I have to jump out of my truck ahead, jump into a bulldozer that was right off to the side, and push the pipes out of the way, and then back up before the truck blew up. I mean, it was really tense. It was really interesting little side event that happened. That was actually pretty awesome. And then, speaking of really awesome, oh, the Porsche knockoff is back. That so I guess you call it a 911 GT3 is what it sort of looks like to me. But yeah, it's another street race and another victory in it, because that car is awesome. That car is really good. It's not the best car overall, but it's the one that I have, and it's the one that I use. So moving on, speaking of the cars that we have and the cars that I use, we moved to Trevor, and it just came to my attention that his truck is one of the toughest vehicles in the game. Like, his truck takes up so much damage, it's ridiculous. But I decided to bring it to Los Santos Customs, gave it more power, gave it more armor. Did a couple of body mods here and there, nothing crazy. Also, we threw on some of them Xenons, because, we love to be obnoxious. So, it's got that. It's really, it does make a noticeable difference. It's nothing huge, but it's enough to make a difference. And speaking of making a difference, we then go right straight to an off-road truck race with that said truck. And this race was easy. I mean, it was a joke. Everybody, like, I was expecting actual, like, off-road vehicles to show up in this, and everyone was showing up in, it's like H2 knockoffs and the fancy SUVs, the sport style SUVs. And it's like, okay, and I'm in an actual four-wheel drive, and it was quite easy. On my way to the next quarters, at this point in time, I pretty much tried to go off-road race to off-road race to off-road race, but my next ATV race literally brought me to a quarry, and I'm like, wait a minute, Maud, the bail bonds for the Ralph, I believe is the guy's name, I actually forget, but I'm like, oh my god. So I start searching the quarry, and eventually I found him in the lowest possible point in the center. He's got a truck setting up ready to go. If he spots you in time, he'll run into the truck, get in, and take off. My advice is to just flat out blitz him, go down in there and ram his vehicle as hard and as fast as you possibly can, and then he panics, takes off on foot. At that point in time, I tried to chase him down with the vehicle, but an only way to get paid is to capture him alive. So it's at that point in time, I'm like, well, shit, what do I do? So I jump out, chase up to him, beat the shit out of him. Eventually, he gives up. And then you go back to your vehicle, he gets in. You have this really interesting sob story on your way back to Maud as to what he did, and it's interesting nonetheless. We speak to Maud a little after we kick his ass into her trailer, get paid, and move on. And then after Maud, on my way back to the ATV race, what happened was I came across another hitchhiker, random hitchhiker. She asked to get a ride back. She apparently was on some sort of, like, I don't know if it was like a drug binge or some kind of living wild thing that happened. over the weekend, but she somehow got way out in the middle of nowhere, so she asked me to give her a ride back to Los Santos up to her boyfriend, who's a security guard at the Vinewood sign, and her conversation goes, it's somewhat interesting. She gets a call from said boyfriend. He accuses her of, being with another guy, and it's this and that, and I'm like, okay, where's this going? I get up to the Vinewood side, and this security guard guy, the last couple of encounters where I've ended up where there's red blips on my radar, I've ended up dead. So the moment this guy turns, when I show up at the Vinewood side, this guy turns red on my radar, I don't even fuck around with this guy at all. I jump out and immediately drop his ass to the pavement and keep stomping till he don't get up no more. You could say I rearranged his priorities. At this point in time, she calls me a monster and how horrible of you and this and that, and fuck it. All right, I'm just sick and tired of random events screwing me over. So as soon as I saw this red dot appear, I'm like, whatever. The guy's going to a beatdown. Eventually, at this point in time, I finally make my way back to the quarry, to the ATV race. In fact, it wasn't an ATV race at all. It was a motorcycle race in the quarry and on like a motocross bike, and that was easy. And as a matter of fact, the next 3 things I have are ATV off-road races. So the next race was by the I think it was on the north. I was somewhere near the Zancudo base. It was another race on a motorcycle. That one also very easy. The same story for the third race, this time on an ATV. But here's the interesting part about the third race that was down by the Alamo Sea, is that I was on an ATV and I missed the fucking ramp where the checkpoint was, and I wrecked hard, and I thought I was fucked, but lo and behold, I had enough time to get back on the bike, or more ATV, whatever, and catch up, pass, and totally win. So it was like, okay, wow, that's how easy these are. And to prove that, the fourth race I was in this VW kind of off-road vehicle, had another wreck in this fourth off-road race in this Volkswagen type thing by the windmill plant, and still won that one as well. So it's like, these off-road races are quite easy, though it's still fun nonetheless. Upon wandering with this said VW off-road vehicle, come across this bad wreck on towards the northern end of the state, and it was this optional heist driver. It turned out to be an optional heist driver. You have a choice to save her, pull her out of the ditch, and get her back to her people where she could get some medical attention off the grid, so shall we say. She offers her services. She's a driver. So, interesting. And then there's this. So, at this point in time, we'd like to present to you Deer Hunter, Grand Theft Auto style. Yep, that is correct. Cletus is back, and he brings us elk hunting, which is not what I was expecting, but interesting nonetheless. It's pretty involved for a side minigame. Just, the fact that you have to watch the wind, you can't be too loud, and it's just kind of hilarious using a bolt action suppressed like sniper rifle to hunt with. It's just kind of humorous, in the normal Grand Theft Auto style. There are other hunting missions, but I have not yet done them yet. Neither here nor there. And at this point in time, I leave you with a little something that happened at the end of the motorcycle race in the quarry. It came to my immediate attention that there were some rock trucks inside this quarry, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm stealing that. So what I do is I jack it and I get into it and I start driving it, and this thing's big. These things are fucking huge and slow too, and I'm thinking, this is hilarious. I'm taking up the entire road, and well, on my way there I see some oncoming traffic, and I'm deciding, well, let's see how tough this thing is. And well, let's just say it was definitely surprising and disappointing. So until next time, y'all have yourselves a good day.